Hello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? You might notice that there has been a slight time gap between this episode and the last one because in between the episodes, I have been busy. I know I have not done much, I have been gathering resources. And we ran into a huge problem which we are going to solve today and probably the next 2 or 3 episodes. So first off, let me try and explain to you the problem. The problem is that in order to advance in this mod pack, you're going to need capacitors. You know, these ones from Ender.io. And if you look at the recipes of the capacitors, you might notice that every time that you make a higher tier one, your cost goes exponentially higher. And by higher, I really mean higher. What do the capacitors need? They need alloys. And what do alloys need? Resources. So basically, I just have to come here, fill in my inventory with something, sand, gravel, or whatever, and start sieving like a madman. And once sieving is done, I have to take some gold, just as an example, some silver, craft some electrum, take out the electrum, get some electrotin and some glowstone, and start making another alloy, energetic silver. Oops. Then I have to take that energetic silver, get some cobalt, ender pearls, and start making vivid alloy. And finally, you know, start making the actual capacitors, which does take a bit of time. That was just one. And I would like to add, that was just one of the tier 1. I need hundreds of the highest tier. So last episode, if you guys remember, we got into blood magic and I decided to make some of the routing nodes. And if I hold the node router in my hand, you might be able to see some of the connections. That does give me the opportunity to make everything automatically and at an incredibly high speed. For example, you might notice that we have almost 10,000 electroton alloy ingots. But brings up the actual problem, and that is resources. Osmium is 0, and at a certain point I had around 12,000 electrotin and I have 2,000 right now. So if we want everything to work as fast as possible, there are a few things that we have to do, and one of them is resources. And how are we going to do that? We're going to use seeds from Mythical agriculture. You know, some of the alloys don't really have any seeds. For example, vivid alloy does not have a seed, you have to craft it, but the ingredients do have seeds. Up to tier 3 seeds, we don't really have a problem because it just needs the runic altar from Botania and we can easily make it, I think. Yes, we can. But from tier 4, we need astral sorcery, but not that much. It's just a tier 2 altar. However, in this mod pack, making seeds is not as easy as you would think. Inferium, you get it from mobs, you can plant it, you can do whatever you want. But for Prudentium, you need neutral steel. For Intermedium, you need more neutral steel. And you get the gist. So this is the massive problem that we have and we need to fix it. How do we fix it? Everything starts with plastic. I know, it's weird. And by plastic, I don't really mean the ones from Pneumatic craft, I mean the ones from industrial foregoing. It is not a very fancy setup, we're just using acacia logs because that gives us a higher yield and we don't have that much of them, but I just installed a bonsai pot. And very slowly, we're getting some plastic. And of course, we're going to use that plastic in order to make, I think, 18 stonework factories. Oh, this is expensive. And I should really start making a better cobblestone generator. This is the problem that you always have with applied energistics. Sometimes when you put something inside, you can't really take it out. You have to rearrange the drives. It's gonna work with auto crafting, but yeah, this is a problem. It's fine. We take the drives out and we just switch them. Yes, we do this one by one. For some reason, it happens a lot in this mod pack. But if I'm not wrong, you guys don't need any water or lava. No, we just need to have a bunch of upgrades. How the hell did you get out? I'm going to set it up inside the compact machine. We're going to have 18 of them and all of them are first going to grind more, and compact 3 by 3. That is very important because that's going to give us compressed dust, and if we sieve it inside the auto-sieve, we're going to get all of these. And we need them in order to make neutral steel. It's just that I don't really know if you can copy and paste the settings on the machines from industrial foregoing, so this could take some time. If you don't misclick, it takes less time, which I do that quite often. Yep. We're getting it. Very slowly. This is the speed that we're getting compressed dust, which I don't think it's that bad. Because the auto-sieve takes 5 ticks in order to process one, so that should be fast enough. Very cool. We can breed the cows and go home. It's not the most amazing thing in the universe, but it's decently fast. Yeah, it's more than 4 or 5 per second. So I guess now it is time to start making the auto-sieve. I have been making a ton of modularium, and apparently by a ton I meant 425. So I guess let us make the sieve. We're going to need one more controller, and I already forgot the rest. Okay. Actually, the only important part is the circuitry, and we need 4 of them. Because it does require the basic control circuit, it needs transistors, and well, my pressure chamber is offline. Thankfully, we did have some basic circuits. So let me craft the rest of the items that we need, and I'll be right back. The rest of them are cheap. Okay, I think we have all the parts, and yes, it did require a mob masher, and this is a 5x5x4 machine. Honestly, it's not that big, so I guess we just set it up somewhere around here. So mob masher in the center, a ring of gearboxes. I just have to cover the rest with casings. Oops. So do you form? Lovely. It needed 59, I had 60 because I was sure that I'm going to lose one. So for the moment, let us steal one Spectre coil. Here is your power. And just for testing purposes, we are going to give it one stack of compressed dust and see what happens. That's fast. Decently fast. We do have 2 output hatches, so this should not cause any problems. But since I'm going to extract everything from the back, maybe we upgrade this one. Reinforced item output, 9 slots. That should be enough. If we fill this one with garbage and give you dust, is it gonna output just from the back? Yeah, okay. I'm happy with that. We are going to get 7 outputs and I need things to be symmetrical, otherwise it's going to damage my brain. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a trim so that we can extend the drawers with 1 controller, a 2x1, 3 singular, and another 2x1. These guys are going to hold the dust, night ore, glowstone, and redstone. And now that they are connected, we should be able to lock them. Yes, locked. And quantify. With the system that we have over here, we're getting all the ingredients that we need in order to make pyrotium, cryotium, aerotium, and petrotium. And yes, we are missing sulfur and a few things, but sulfur is here, extra redstone is there in case we need it, which I think we will, and I just need to take care of obsidian dust as well as snowballs. Okay, let me get a few machines, I'll be right back. It has been a bit of time later, and I had to do some remodeling. First off, I had to move the drawers 1 block higher, and under each and every one of them, we have a sequential fabricator with the pattern validation augment, so that it doesn't take that much garbage in. We do have a glacial precipitator, which is making us snowballs, and an igneous extruder making us obsidian. It's not the best way of doing that, but who cares. We also have a pulverizer converting obsidian into obsidian dust. Everything has to be upgraded, don't you worry. And obviously under each and every sequential fabricator, we have a magma crucible making us the fluid. It's not going to be the end game setup, but for the moment this will last us for a while. I would also be extremely happy if we can get 4 black hole tanks, which we can. Lovely. And for the moment, we can just put them over here. Like so. So everybody outputs. Oh, and of course, the filtering and cabling is back here. It's nothing very complicated. I just wanted it to be compact and neat. Oh, and now I should get the upgrades. Let's get some of you and some of you. We need it for the augments. Actually, now that I'm doing this, let me try to get 1 stack. Making 1 stack of kits is not that bad. I'm just waiting for some indirium. 2 more. Thank you. We are going to waste a few kits, but who cares? 1 stack of the actual upgrades. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think everybody has upgrades. Except you. Are we good? Yes. Oh, and obviously the igneous extruder. Where are you? He's not visible, I didn't see him. Now we have 77 buckets. It's not that bad. Again, this is not the end game setup. But remember that we have done all of this in order to get a few neutral steel so that we can get into mystical agriculture. And obviously the most important part of neutral steel is the Draconium itself. We cannot make the seed because it's a tier 5 and it does look a bit expensive. So I think the only solution that I have at this very moment is to do some manual sieving. We have pizza. You can't really vein mine with the saturation totems. So for the moment, this will do. I'm just gonna hammer a bunch. Yeah, every time that I hammer down, it's 1300. Or something, depending on the saturation, obviously. Although, on a very positive note, we get the dust. It doesn't look like that I have vein mined that much, but I was looking at the dank null and we have 50,000 crushed endstone and a decent supply of draconium. I'm not really going to sift through 50,000 in order to get draconium, but maybe we do 5 or 6,000. I sift through almost 10,000 endstone and as a result we have 1,856 draconium. It's not much, I give you that. But we also did manage to mine some, 400, it's nothing. But 2,400 should be enough to get us started. We need some fluid transposers. Well, I guess 4 for the moment. Oh, and by the way, I'm not exactly sure, but we might also make another sieve because this one is not keeping up with the amount of dust that I'm getting. It always builds up. I mean, it's working as fast as possible, but this is how fast it works. Again, remember that symmetry is important, so 2 fluid transposers, a cache, and 2 more transposers. I made a chain and I color-coded everything. This should work. Now, generally, stuff are going to need power. Now it works. Also remember that you're going to need 3 neutral steels of the 1st degree in order to make the 2nd degree and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a very expensive thing and we have until the 11th degree. This is the 4th. With the limited options that we have at this very moment, I think this is the only solution. Oh, and wait a minute, we don't really need to have the 4th degree at this very moment. That gives us 2 premium. We're gonna farm the wither for that. But just for the questing purposes, we're going to take some of them out. Thank you, thank you. And let us see what other problems I have to solve. Actually, while I'm fixing a few things around the base, we might as well try to get a few seeds. Because it's not just about the seeds, I also have to tend them. Here is our first seed, Grains of Infinity. That's not a quest. I made you. I swear I made you. Yeah, it's okay, it didn't count. We make another one. The only problem is that I don't have any seeds. You're gonna give me seeds, yes. There you go. Is it gonna count? Thank you. I don't really want to do all of these things for free. I prefer to be rewarded with RAKs so that I can buy more totems. Oh, and you can shift and right click to place down a double crop stick, but I'm just going to do it like this, because if you hold sneak and right click, you get a pebble. It's the garden of glass, it happens. Grains of infinity is 10 10 10. This is glowstone, gold, mushrooms which we needed in order to make lead. This is tin, quartz, as well as copper. I did not make them because I'm crazy, you need to use them inside the other recipes. But here is the thing, in addition to the normal seeds that we're going to need, I want one extra. For guardians. I do need a lot of prismarine shards and I'm lazy to craft them. If we have a seed, I'll be more than happy. You drop seeds, right? Yes, not seeds, chunks. If you drop another one, it will be lovely. No, thank you. Finally. In order to make a guardian seed, we also need to have a guardian spike. So I do have a few dolls. Let us hope we get lucky. That is slow. Maybe we can have two? At the same time? Hello, handsome. Oh, that was fast. Maybe we're going to keep the second one, just in case later we need to spawn them or something. So guardian chunks, guardian spike. Oh, that takes a lot of mana. But here is our guardian seed. Lovely, that's a quest. So we shall have you 10 10 10. And while I'm working on seeds and I'm trying to 10 10 10 some of them, I have also prepared a very small platform for our crops. And here it is. It's around 350 blocks away from home, so block updates are not going to cause any FPS drops. We could have also gone to the void world, but who cares? Changing dimensions is actually worse. I mean, it's not really going to cause your FPS to drop, but it will cause lag and then you have to restart your PC. And yes, I'm doing a bit of Lordcraft. An amazing mod, because we want some growth crystals. I had no idea that I can make more. Lovely, we can have 4 more. So the growth crystal is a quest. Lovely, there you go. And also the final tier is not possible because you need an end crystal and this is the recipe. Amazing. So I do have a feeling that if you place them down, they're also going to hydrate the farmland. Are you? I don't know. Can be used as a water source. Doesn't look like it, but okay. Maybe I'm blind. But just in case, we're also going to have lily pads of fertility. Ah, yeah, it does work. Okay. I have brought a few gizmos in order to make our farm operational, and the first 2 seeds that we're going to have are going to be prismarine. And this is going to be very weird because we're going to have 2 of them. Because I need the prismarine crystals and I also need to have the prismarine shards. You're already upgraded. And no, the crafters from RF Tools are a bit expensive. You make me the crystals. Lovely. And the other one should make the shards. The layout that we have at this very moment is not amazing, but later on we are going to have imaginary time blocks and I don't really want to redesign the farm. If you are 10 10 10, which you're not. I was going to say that if it is 10 10 10, we're done with crops for today, but apparently not. We have so many other things to do and I have even made some transistors and capacitors. I'm just waiting for the crops to get ready. You should be 10 10 10. Yes, finally. So, just a very small update. First off, this is the Darklands, so it's always dark. It's not going to really affect the crops, but the sky is dark. That's it. Secondly, we have prismarine, we have electrotine, we have grains of infinity, and I had no idea what— oh, this is sulfur. My sulfur production is garbage. This is going to be coal, iron, and glowstone. Well, for some reason, I already have a crafter over here, so we use that one, I guess. I don't really know why I have an extra crafter, but that is fine. For the rest of them, we're going to use compactors, which for some reason I cannot extract. Why? I think you need to set the pattern first. Yeah, exactly. Wrong one. Do it only once. Exactly, much better. So now that we are going to get items at a ridiculously fast rate, we have to change something at our base. Last time that we were playing Project Ozone Capo mode, I was storing everything inside my ME system, in 64K ME storage cells. So it was amazing. I don't know, we had like 200 drives, but this time we're going to do it a bit differently as requested by Prince Thomas, the traitor. He suggested that we should use black hole units, but since he's a traitor, we're going to go with Yappa, so that we would be able to pretend that we came up with this idea and not him. Also, based on the number of items that we are going to have eventually, the storage has to be way bigger. Yeah, maybe for now 15 on each side and then I can have another 15 on the back. So 60 in total. Also, you don't have that many color options. We're going with this. Okay, it has been a while and we have our brand new storage. 45 of them were enough in order to hold every resource that we were getting up till now, and 2 of them are for prismarine. So for the moment we have 47 barrels which are functioning. So transferring the items took a bit of time. I had to do some sieving, I had to prepare a few blocks, and now we're going to assemble something very important. The mechanical empowerer. Last time that we were playing Project Ozone, this option was not available, so we had to make our own capacitor factory. And I guess this time they wanted to make it easy for us. Why is it such a hard thing to remember? And yes, it's always lovely to do this during the night. I should sleep. Yeah, this should be a bit safer. I think this should be correct. Input, output, and obviously more inputs. I made the biggest ones that I could. The huge ones. Oh, and obviously the controller itself. You're green. Why? Well, the color itself is not very important. Let us give it a test and see how fast it's going to work. This is literally the most important machine. Oh, it's fast. Really fast. I mean, compared to the other one, that one is garbage. But still, it's not fast enough. Maybe we should have a few of them. But this makes life so much easier. I'm happy with this. For those of you who don't know, we have actually entered the most important part of Project Ozone, and that is the capacitor factory. There is a line of capacitors which is extremely important for us, and every step of it has to be automated. Grainy capacitor, silver capacitor, energenic, energized, crystalline, and melodic. And why are they important? Well, you guys probably remember you need it for the capacitor from Pneumatic craft, which gives you PCBs, gives you storage components, and most importantly, it gives you the stupid enriched alloy from Mechanism. And this chain is incredibly expensive because in order to make a capacitor from Pneumatic craft, you need 1 melodic capacitor, 2 crystalline capacitors, 4 energized, 8 energenic, 16 silver, and 32 grainy capacitors. Before we start automating everything, there is one thing that I need, and that is one osmium compressor, because one of the items that I really need to have is this. Where is it? Refined obsidian ingot. Yes. I do have a feeling that we have enough resources for that. Let us see. We do need some advanced circuits. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, we do have the resources. Perfect. I need a few crafters from RF tools, and unfortunately, in order to make the machine frame, you're going to need refined obsidian, which we didn't have. Now that we have it, we should be able to proceed. I have just made a crafter tier 3 from RF tools, and here's how we're going to do this. We're going to have a sequential fabricator. Secondly, we're going to have a master routing node from Blood Magic. And then we have to find redstone, which is here, and we shall have one input node. You don't work there? Maybe it does work. Let's connect it first. An output node on the sequential fabricator. And yes, it does actually work. It's extracting the redstone and putting it inside the sequential fabricator, although it does not seem to be connected. Another input for iron, and it shall have a recipe for making us the red iron compound. Lovely. We are using this recipe because osmium is a tier 4 seed and I cannot craft it at this very moment. Then we're going to have a redstone furnace who's going to cook everything. And finally, we're going to have the crafter who's going to assemble everything. And I guess now it's just a matter of setting up patterns. We need silver and lead. Aha! So, just before I forget something very important, I have switched the line of capacitors. You know, instead of making the silver ones, we're using these ones. Because here is the point, Vivid Alloy does not have a seed, and Vibrant Alloy has a seed, so it's gonna save a lot of processing power, and besides, both of them give you the same capacitor, so why the hell not? Who cares? Another very important thing that I don't really know if I ever explained it or not is the routing nodes from Blood Magic. It does require a master routing node, which doesn't do anything, it's just your, I don't know, ME controller. And then you're going to have input routing nodes, which are going to extract from a barrel or a chest or an inventory and insert it into your system. And then you have the output ones, which are going to extract from your system, not the storage, and insert it wherever you want, in our case, machines. And yes, they do accept filters. You can use conduits, you can use lasers from actual additions, you can use whatever you want. I was just tired of having a blood altar and never doing anything with it. Anything functional at least. But the goal is that these guys are automatically going to craft us the resources that we want, it should automatically goes inside the Empowerer, and after we get a certain measure of capacitors, we're going to give a redstone signal to someone somewhere and we're going to stop the process. And by the way, they are relatively fast. Faster than actually additions. Another very important thing that I realized is that we have wood. It doesn't really look the best, but maybe we should have a few farms with wood. I don't know if you kill the wither with wood, it's going to count towards killing the actual wither by the player, but these are nice, because you can also get life essence and demonic will. I didn't know that. However, before we wrap up today's episode, there is one more thing that I want to do. Actually, two things that I want to do. We need to have an extra automatic sieve. Not just because I'm making too much dust, because we can just put it in a drawer and void the excess. It's mainly because I'm not really getting enough powder. Yeah, I would say 2 sieves are better. And don't ask me why I decided to make a big item input and fill it in with garbage. You know, the front one could have been the garbage one, but I do a lot of stupid things, so who cares? Anyways, this was not the small project that I wanted to do. The small project that I wanted to do was regarding magnetic craft. Last time that we were playing capo mode, we used the refinery from Pneumatic craft in order to process oil, correct? You know, this stupid thing that we have over here. There is a far more beautiful option for magnetic craft, and I also think it's a bit more efficient in order to give you LPG. Also, somebody mentioned something very important. Yes, you can convert the other byproducts of the refinery into LPG, but you need some of them. For example, kerosene. I don't really know how much of that you need, but you need kerosene in order to make neutral steel of the 11th degree. Actually, maybe you don't need that much, because how many 11th degree are you going to need? But in any case, you guys get the gist. We can't really convert everything into LPG because we need the fuel for galactic craft, we need kerosene for neutral steel, and I have no idea what this is. A diesel. Diesel we can convert. Although this part really doesn't have to do anything with LPG, we're just gonna process oil. There is a beautiful multi-block called the oil heater. And we need 2 of them. I just wanted to mention there's absolutely no reason to use magnetic craft. I'm using it because I think the blocks look incredibly cool. That's it. And yes, these are the oil heaters and they do more than oil. This is why we have 2 of them. Another thing that you might notice is that it looks incredibly similar to the heat generator from Mechanism. Look. It's almost identical, but these guys are going to need heat, so here is an RF heater. We give you power, and yeah, it's warming up. I think if you add more, it's gonna heat up faster. Maybe? Some of the machines from Magnetic Craft are disabled in this mod pack, so this is not how we're supposed to get steam, but we're gonna use one of the oil heaters for steam. Fluid input is from the back, fluid output is from the top. So I can have an infinite water source, and this is an overkill, but a translocator? Do you give me steam? Yes? Amazing! Oh, and these are amazing. The heaters actually heat up. But for the moment, let us bank the steam first, and then let us see if we have extra heaters, it's going to be any faster. I think it is. It's really hard to say. Next episode, I really want to start processing some oil so that I would be able to run my pressure chamber. I need capacitors. So that guy is making us steam that is going to heat up the refineries and it's going to give us the oil byproducts, and this one is going to give us heated oil. Well, it's actually called hot crude. It's going to give us LPG, light oil, heavy oil. And if we process them further, we're going to get everything that we need, including kerosene and lubricant somewhere. We need some lubricant for speed upgrades. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.